Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. It's from a guy. It appears that he's in his 30s. He doesn't say how old he is, but from his picture in Gmail, I think that's the case. He lives in New York City, and he's writing in asking my opinion, as well as you guys, if moving to a different state, particularly a red state, will help solve a lot of his issues that are going on nowadays. You're going to see that obviously he's a conservative, and I guess he's been living in NYC for a long time, but he's noticed over time it's just changed and changed and changed, where it's obviously become much more liberal, as if it wasn't always liberal. Not just the city, but also the state, and he just doesn't belong anymore. He's unhappy, the people he talks to, the people he deals with, and you want to know my opinion about picking up and moving and starting over. Now, I generally avoid the subject of politics because I like to talk about things that unite all of us, and there's nothing that can divide people more than politics. So while yes, at the core his issue is politics, that's why he's leaving, I'm using this also for guys out there to talk about picking up and starting over in a place where you feel that's more for you. If you're not happy where you are for whatever reason, and there can be plenty of reasons, how it's important to pick up and leave and start anew, and to have the strength and the balls to do that. And a lot of guys don't, and how important that is. So I'm going to go through his email here, and I'm going to go over why I'm also picking up and moving to a new state in a matter of months, and then answer his question and give some tips and suggestions for him, as well as anybody else that is ready to make a serious change. Because there's a lot of people in this country that have been picking up and leaving the different locations and are planning on it as well, because they're just sick and tired of where they live. Things just aren't right for them on multiple fronts, and you all get the point. It says here, hello SSM. I know I sent you a question previously, but I think I didn't make the cut. Well, it probably fell through the cracks. Don't take offense. I get dozens of emails every day. Thanks for all that you do for those who don't have a voice or have a place of worth in our current society that we live in, myself included, which brings me to my question that's been on my mind for some time now. I currently live in New York City, and he says, yes, I know, the liberal hellhole capital of the world. Well, there are some people that may disagree with you on the capital of the liberal hellholes. Hell, I live near Boston, and I'm sure Boston's not as bad as NYC, but, well, I don't need to get into detail on that one. And I begin to notice how a lot of things have changed, especially with the recent events of accused actor Jonathan Majors. Despite what happened, it was him that got crucified by the media, and this made me pay attention to more considering I'm a minority myself. But I'm also something that states like to despise, a male. As time progresses, my thought was, if that can happen to him, it could also happen to me as well. For some time, I've considered wanting to leave NYC, as I don't even remember it as I once did. I don't even feel comfortable being around others, including the gals. People even say I'm overthinking, but you can't overthink what you see. Actions speak for itself. Yeah, bro, you're not alone here. You got a whole community of guys here that see reality for what it is, but the masses follow the narrative and haven't picked up on that. But the one good thing is a lot of people are seeing the problems we have right now in our society on multiple fronts and are becoming more aware of it, but still, those numbers are small in the grand scheme of things. Sharing this with others makes me feel minimalized and dismissed, causing me to feel lonely by hour of every day. Albeit, I keep having this thought of getting the hell out and starting over, but where to move is the question. So here's my question. Is living in a red state the best way to live compared to a blue state? I can only imagine all the answers you're going to get, dude, in the comment section. Most would move out of the country to another, but I'm not at that point in my life just yet. I would love your insight and advice, since you're looking to leave where you are at, somewhere that benefits you. Thanks and take care. So, before I get into answering your question, what I think you ought to do, my opinion on that, I'm going to tell you why I'm moving from where I'm living. I've been living in Massachusetts since the summer of 2010, and there's been a lot of great experiences I've had living here. But I too am ready for a change, but to be perfectly honest, the politics isn't the biggest reason. There's a whole bunch of different things. I first started wanting to get out of town and move to Florida, actually move in 2020. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go, but I had the top list. It really boiled down to Texas and Florida. But at the end of the day, Florida was just more for me. And this is right before the masses really started going to Florida and all that. Now, as many are aware, people have been flocking out of the West Coast states, particularly the cities, as well as New England and the Mid-Atlantic states for a number of years now, really for the last 3 years. And they've been heading to Texas, Florida, Tennessee's a big one as well as others. And for lots of reasons that I don't need to get into here, many of you guys are aware of this. And for me, I wanted to get out of here because it was just time for me. First of all, I've lived in the cold states for a long time. I'm sick and tired of shoveling snow in the winter. I'm tired of scraping ice off the frickin' windows for many months of the year. I would want to move to a state that's warmer, obviously. I wanted to move to a place where that no longer has a state income tax, because as my income has gone through the roof, thanks to YouTube, I'm tired of shelling it out when I don't have to if I could live someplace else. Now, of course, you live in a state that doesn't have an income tax, they're going to get you in other places, so you have to be aware of that and obviously pay attention to all these things. I wanted to live in a state that was much more business friendly. Red states generally are much more business friendly than the blue states. And then, of course, lower taxes in one form or another. I also wanted to go down there because of great beaches. I also wanted to go down there because of just, yes, politically, more aligned with my values and beliefs and all that. There's a whole lot of reasons there. And but I couldn't go right away because at the time when I decided I wanted to make the move, I was a full-time personal trainer and I also started on YouTube. And I was fortunate enough that this channel took off pretty quickly and I started making some decent money after a few months. But there's no way that I was going to pick up and leave and have to start over as a personal trainer if I'd have something else making me money as well. So I decided I'm going to give myself a good few years to make sure that YouTube really worked. And it has. I now have 3 channels. Merchandise selling, as well as starting a new website coming up at the end of next month, and I'm doing fantastic. And so after 3 years of seeing this as an official business, now I know I can pick up and move anywhere the hell I want. And also, I now no longer do personal training. But at the time, I wasn't going to pick up and just leave and start over. I wanted to make sure, without a shadow of a doubt, the money's coming in. And so now I can do it, and that's why I waited. And so by the end of 2021, I knew this was a go. And I actually sold my condo in the fall of 2021 because I could see the writing on the wall. Inflation was taken off. It was only a matter of time before interest rates are going to be hiked and therefore hammering the real estate market in the short term. So I sold my condo, which was not at all a problem, in the fall of 2021. And I've been living in an apartment where my buddy family owns an apartment complex ever since, month to month. And I'm going to be out of here in a few months. So that part is done. So in a couple months, I'm going to be going to Florida. I already have been in touch with a realtor down there. The realtor is a woman, and she's a friend of a friend, fantastic at what she does. She knows what I want, and so in a couple months, I'm going to be down there checking it out. But before I even made the choice of Florida, making it official, I went down there to check it out. I went down there in different parts of Florida to see, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen me mention on Instagram or whatever, I've been to Florida a bunch of times in the last couple of years, to really see if it's for me. And sure enough, it was for me. I went down there in July a couple of times, the hottest fucking time of the year, to see if I could take it, and I could. So I found a place in Florida, a region I want to live, and I'll begin the process in a couple months. And I'm not super picky. I see a place I like, I can make an offer, boom, I'm not going to fuck around. I got the money, and I'll be relocating down there. My goal is to be out of here be down there by Christmas. I think I can make it happen. But anyhow, it was time for a change for me, and I want to be in an environment that more fits my lifestyle, my point of view and all that, and so I get it. So my recommendation for you is, I know a lot of you guys are interested in me and what I do, my life and everything, so I'll give you a little information there. But for this guy writing in, and any of you other guys out there that where you live right now, it's just not for you for whatever reason, and you want to move, my recommendation for all you guys and the dude writing in is that you really think about where you want to go. Get some ideas in mind, and then do some research online about where you're going, about all sorts of things about what it's like to live there. I'm sure there are articles and posts and things like that. People talk about where they live. And when you narrow it down, then really figure out if you can do your job there. Is your job transferable? Can you start a new one down there? That's an important thing. Do you have a job that you can do anywhere? Because a lot of people nowadays have a job they can do anywhere, just as long as they have a internet connection and a computer and a phone, and there you go. And then wherever you're thinking about, I would get in the car or get on a plane and go down there and check it out. Don't just show up and that's it, because you may not like where you're going. And really evaluate the pros and cons to whatever place you want to go, and then visit it and see what it's like. And if you find a couple places that are for you, or one place and you're up for it, then go for it. Because if you're not happy where you are, a lot of people where they live really impacts their happiness. And if you're miserable, you got to make a change, but one important thing is a lot of people think that they're unhappy with their lives for whatever reason. And they think, if I just change where I live, I'll be happy. Well, as it turns out, they go someplace else, they're still unhappy because it's something internal. However, if you really feel like you don't belong where you are, like with me, you're sick and tired of the cold and the people around you, because let's be honest, Massachusetts, there's a reason that there's the nickname massholes. Okay, people are fucking assholes around here. It really is. And any guys from Massachusetts know what I'm talking about here. It's just, people are fucking nasty. If I went to Florida, a lot nicer people there. Although a lot of people from Florida have come from New England, so go figure. But anyhow, there were just a lot of things for me that just weren't for me down there. Now, a lot of it was business-wise. Not going to be paying a state income tax down there. That's a big deal for me, But I had my reasons. And I know I'll be happier down there because it's not my own internal issues that have issues. It's my surroundings. I'm ready for a change. So I would do all that. Do your research, find out where you want to go. Go check it out. Because you may get there and be like, you know what? I don't like this place. And try another state or another city, another location. And then by doing that and talking to people, you might find out that, hey, I really like this new area, so I'm going to give it a go. But you can't be afraid of trying something new. A lot of people have a very hard time with change, going out of their comfort zone. They would rather just stay where they are and be miserable than try something new. Or they're afraid that I'm not going to know anybody where I move. Well, that's the thing. You got to be comfortable on your own and be able to bring yourself happiness. Otherwise, it's very hard. You rely on other people for your happiness. You're going to be in trouble. But ultimately, you move someplace else and you can start over and it'll work with your job and it's an environment that you're happier in. Then you can meet people. Join a gym, join a martial arts school, some kind of thing that has other people in it, and start talking to people, and off you go, and you'll make friends. I mean, how'd you make the friends you had now? Think about that. And go from there, and I hope that will work. But just saying, because his issue is more political, I want to leave this blue city, New York City, and go to a red state. Yeah, I'm hoping it makes you happy, but again, question is it just your surroundings, or is it stuff that's internal? But I do think from what you're describing, it is time for you to go. Now, again, I'm not getting into politics here. His reason is politics, but for me, I'm just saying this. People just want to go. Life is short. And simply, if you're unhappy and you know exactly what it is to make you unhappy, change it or relocate in this particular case. So that's my response there. So I really think you ought to do some research, places you want to go, and if you can work from those places with your current job or get a new job, check them out, ask people about, learn everything you can, evaluate the pros and cons of housing, the way you're taxed down there, all those things, and then go for it. Life is short. Take a chance, and it can end up being the best thing you ever did for yourself. And because most people in this world are scared shitless of change, they'll stay in a place where they are unhappy and have unhappy relationships with friends, family, lovers, and all that, and they're just too scared shitless to make a change. But people that have the balls to do it really are rewarded down the road. So I wish you the best. And I know darn well it'll be weird at first when I move. I've been living here since 2010. And there's, like I said, a lot of great experiences. There are things I like about Massachusetts. I'm going to miss the fall. Autumn up here is unbelievable. I'll miss that amongst some friends I have up here and things like that. But they all know it's time for me to go. It's nothing personal. And I'll stay in touch. But, it'll be the best decision I ever made. And I think this will be the same thing for you. So for all you guys that need a change, go for it. Life is short. But just do your homework on it. But remember, there's no guarantee you're going to be happy wherever you are. And as regards to going from a blue state to a red state, remember, there are pros and cons to everything, okay? Because we can go back and forth, and people can say, well, the red state's this, and the red state's that, and then the people in the red states say, well, the blue state's this, the blue state's that. It boils down to what makes you happy and just doing your homework. So I wish you the best, bro, and I don't blame you one bit. I get it. Trust me. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.